absolute electricity as the top of the 10th in the Wake LSU game. Again, this will be out the day afterwards, so you'll kind of see our live reactions. But I'm your host, JD Wonder, alongside Nick Hendricks and Mikey Love. And gentlemen, this has been an absolutely amazing College World Series.
It really has. I mean, you've had, I think everybody expected this was how it was going to turn out. You would have teams come away with a couple of upsets, and you knew Oral Roberts was going to sneak away with one. Then you had teams like Wake Forest who were going to get dominant early. I think a lot of people expected Florida to be. Josh is live reactioning a little bit hard right now. As this ball is caught at the fence.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I saw a tweet yesterday, or this morning actually. You're a team like TCU, and you have your season end on a 400-foot 7 ball hit at 107 miles an hour. And you look at the way that TD Ameritrade holds, especially out to center. The tweet was basically, those are gone all year. Like you're sitting dead red. That's gone all year. Omaha's a different ballpark. Teams have been ended on a lot worse than just that. So,
well, I mean, just the outfit, like especially center field, is just a death sentence.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as all that. So, man, football. But yeah, no, I agree, and it's tough to see, especially those games that came down to the wire. A lot of times, like the Oral Roberts in Florida game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all around, Florida's had all their wins off of one score. That's caught.
Which, looking at it too, I mean, Florida's pitching staff coming into this, you had Caglione, and then it really wasn't that impressive. The offense was more of the impressive thing for Florida, in my opinion. You had a lot of guys being able to lead through, a lot of guys being able to come back from last year, and now especially like a team against LSU who was pretty good last year. You had Stanford, who was red hot last year. They returned a lot of guys, and that's why they got back to Omaha. So, I mean, you had a lot of big returning offenses, and you had a lot of new kind of bullpens. And I think this game comes to show for it. You got Louder for Wake Forest, and then you got Scanis for LSU, two guys who are going to go top in for pitching in this draft class. I mean, it was just a tournament to be seen this year, in my opinion. This is one of the best that we've seen, I think, in the last 5-10 years.
Well, in all honesty, too, especially having these two high-powered teams, the number one seeds, the only ones to hold the number one spot throughout the year, to play each other for 3 games was impressive.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, the story of, it seems like the SEC has just been the long ball, and so coming here, I think that's why, Florida, escaped a few games by hitting home runs.
Mm-hmm.
But you saw, again, some of those other teams just kind of struggle because they couldn't get it out. So teams that have, gotten those clutch home runs and stuff like that, they're now hitting it and it's getting caught at the wall, or it's getting hung up for a regular routine fly ball just because the wind's blowing straight in from the river. So,
mm-hmm. Well, in like Sunday's game, the Florida Oral Roberts game was incredible. Because
it's tough because you have the Florida had 5 hits and 3 of them were home runs, and
yep.
Oral Roberts had 11 hits in that game, and they ended up losing.
And I was just about to go to your point on that, where home runs won in that game. But they also, Oral Roberts hitting almost won Oral the game, because you take a look at how, like you said, you had 5 hits, 3 of them being bombs, multiple run bombs on a couple of times. But then you throw it to Oral Roberts, they were stringing base hits together. That was their whole MO all year. They only hit one home run in the entire CWS this year.
Yeah, that was that clutch home run against TCU to put them up.
Yeah.
Yep, hung up again in center field.
And so that ball was hit deep into the gap. Usually that is double central at how much that ball was hit off the bat.
But this field play is huge, just like we just have talked about. And so I don't know if there's a way to change anything, but
I think now TD Ameritrade is stuck, and I don't think you can really do
Charles Schwab.
Charles Schwab. I have a cup that says TD Ameritrade. Throwback to the OG days. But my whole thing with this entire series is, I think you had upsets where they were due, and then you had big wins where they were due. And the first team, I believe, that was out was Duke, correct? Or Duke or Oregon was one of the first two teams out. Or oh wow, I went back all the way to the Supers. Never mind. Didn't I? Yeah, I did. Went all the way back to the Supers. Let's go back to Sunday when there was an elimination. So
No,
Virginia.
Virginia and Stanford were the first teams out.
Yeah. And to me, that was shocking. Like Stanford being as hot as they were, but coming into a Wake Forest staff, I don't think in the Pac-12 they were able to see that much pitching. And then when you have a 1-2-3, and especially Louder leading that front three, I mean they were dominant. Stanford was able to hang in there. Virginia, they had the bats led by Kyle Teal and that Virginia offense. But I mean, still, you look at Heyman and Rivera for Florida, and then you throw in Wyatt Langford into that mix as well. I mean, that was an offense that was deadly, and they have shown it, and that's why they're sitting with the only team with 3 wins in the College World Series going to the semifinals. Or the Championship Series, I should say. Mikey's been quiet down there. I see him dodging his head there.
He's got LSU winning this game.
He does have LSU winning this game. I think I'm the only one that has Wake Forest. I mean, you've got a Wake Forest hat on.
I have Wake Forest winning this game. I mean, like, really, I said TCU would have a chance. I mean, they did. They did have a chance, but they just didn't have, the capacity to roll over that Florida team, especially. Well, it's tough, too, because I feel like, in all honesty, I feel like they got lucky at the end of that game. Both with the ball being caught out there, because that was definitely a mistake pitch, and the pitcher knew it. But the play before that, for them to come up, was a ball hit deep in the gap, and the shortstop slid a little bit on that not on the surface, and didn't quite get enough juice across the diamond to get him out. So see ya.
I will say defenses have been outstanding in the CWS, as that was a nasty breaking ball.
Debatable too. I mean, Wake Forest left fielders still lost.
Yeah, that to me, that one's tough. You have sunglasses on your head, you gotta catch that ball. Like, I understand that glare might be tough, but you gotta get that. But then next inning, you had ground out to third base with bases loaded, throw home, guy gets tagged out, which if you see the replay at home, runner for LSU was out.
Yeah, it was close.
And then, I mean, still though, there have been some good plays. TCU's third baseman the other day against Oral Roberts made a fantastic play in the hole, carried himself all the way over, spin around and throw. But to me, this game right now, probably I would put this as my championship series if you really could.
I feel like realistically, the team that comes out, granted, they're both pitching their ace, and this game is going to go on longer, so it's going to take a toll on some guys. So it'll be kind of tough, but they do have a rest day in between. But I feel like Florida is going to have a good opportunity to capitalize on whoever comes out of this game. But realistically, I think the better two teams are playing right now.
Yeah, and especially the bullpen staff goes to show for both. Because, I mean, obviously, I in my opinion, at least for Wake Forest, as you see Scannis.
Well, Wake Forest for sure, but I think that – oh, that's fly out. So I think that, though, LSU's – like, I think there's times when Skeens comes out of the game, they're up 5-0, and then their bullpen gives away 3 runs. Granted, it doesn't have that much of an effect if your starter goes 7 or 8 innings. Yeah. Then your bullpen really doesn't have a chance to give up a ton of runs. But I mean, in all honesty, LSU, the guys that have started for them have looked great. I will say that much. Agree. That even their day 3 and day 4 guys that either weren't starters or guys that had struggled during the season, they kind of put it together and decided to start revving it up. But yeah, this Wake Forest bullpen has been pretty solid.
When you take a look at yesterday's game against Wake Forest to force this game, you had LSU going, what is this, 6 pitchers. You had Coleman, Mooney, Then you had Herring, who ended up getting the win yesterday for LSU. Then you had Guidry, he's one of their high-level relievers. Then you had Cooper as well. So LSU wasted a few arms yesterday. I wouldn't say wasted. You almost did need to Johnny Holstaff your way through yesterday to be able to put your big man on the bump, get him here, get him one more shot at the season. And LSU's pitching staff did exactly what they were supposed to do. You take a look at Wake Forest in that game. They only used if I can pull up the correct on the box score here. Wake Forest only used 2 pitchers in that game. They used Keener and they used Sullivan. Then you throw it to, let's see, we'll go to Monday's game for Wake Forest. LSU, in my opinion, has been using more pitchers than I think any of the top seeds in here, because Wake Forest per game, in the first game against LSU again, LSU used Floyd and Hurd coming out of the pen, and then Wake Forest threw 4 in that game. They went Hartle, Rowland, Macy, and then Mancini, who ends up getting the win after that. So in reality, both teams have used a lot of pitching. So
I just think that the game plan for LSU most of the season has been to utilize their starters and try to go as deep as they can.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of showed with the 2 that they threw. However, when they had to use their bullpen, they've seemed to come around pretty well. And so, again, I could just never get a good read on this LSU team, because there's times when pitchers will make good pitches and then their defensive liabilities in the infield will make mistakes, but then they'll come back and they'll be able to score it in the bottom half or whenever they come back up, because you just got such dangerous hitters on that team. I mean, Trey Morgan's really come around in this series. He's hitting in the 400s, I believe. And even on the outs he's made in this game, too, some of them have been really solid contact.
Mm-hmm. Especially, I mean, you list off the names here. You got Dylan Cruz, who arguably going to be, he's hitting 427 at the moment in the CWS. He's probably going to be one of the top hitters going in the draft this year. Outfield prospect. And then you throw it to Tommy White, Mr. Tanks. He's hitting 370 in the CWS at the moment. And you got Morgan. He's hitting 316. So, I mean, and then go down to a couple of the other names that have been on this LSU staff for a little bit. I mean, you're looking at an experienced LSU offense versus, I think they're probably one of the most experienced in this tournament when it comes down to it. But then you get guys that have a lot more just consistency that are on that Florida lineup as well. I would say, as we've talked about it, you've got the only 2 teams that held number 1 spot this year. The one that obviously was consistent and the most up at the number 1 spot was Wake Forest. And that offense has been electric the entire year, and the pitching staff has been winning them games left and right. And that is a swing and a hard miss as the 11th kicks off with a K. Oh.
I mean, this kid was a game time decision. He's a freshman this year. And I mean, he has a hit in this game. He got a hit off of Skeens. But he had to come in for the injured first baseman, who I think it's an oblique injury or something like that.
It's a rib injury. Listen one time.
Whoa, that's the first words we've heard from the redhead down south.
Ninja.
I'm not dealing with this guy.
You're not dealing with this guy. What are you talking about?
What guy?
You.
Me guy? Why me guy?
Get right, stupid.
Because it's Wake Forest and LSU, and you want LSU?
It's
sure.
Yeah, we've seen some absolutely just this game all around has been electric.
But I think the teams that really surprised the most, and I will say this, I think everybody had Oral Roberts competing in a game.
Maybe.
You're like a half a second ahead of me, but I don't think anybody expected Oral Roberts to be as competitive as they were. I mean, they had the win streak coming in. They had 20 games coming into the Oregon loss. I believe it was 21 games coming into the first Oregon loss that they took in the Super Regionals. And then they sped right through it. They got here and they came ready to play. Came out, beat a very good TCU team. came out, were able to get an upset against a Florida team in a game. So, I mean, now where does that really put the college baseball level as a Summit League team able to come in and get a win, especially as a 4? You get the Sun Belt teams that are now starting to move, at least get closer to Omaha, because TCU ended up beating Southern Miss. But I mean, still, there's a lot to say about these smaller programs being able to leave their mark at such a big stage.
I'd say that it kind of shows that some of the regular season rankings are just overrated, because you got a lot of those other teams that were ranked in their region, all this kind of stuff, and they end up getting beat. I mean, we've talked about it before, though, that within baseball, it's beautiful because anybody can win on any given day. And that Oral Roberts team, I mean, they were a competitive program because they were guys that, again, get base hits when they need to. They had a good starting staff, good bullpen, just all around consistent ball club. Granted, you run into, a high-powered offense like Florida. It's really tough when your mistake pitches end up scoring runs. If your mistake pitches are, some singles, doubles, you can survive on that if it's only 5 hits. But if 3 of them are home runs and they're multiple run home runs, then it's a lot more challenging to come through that deficit.
So I want to take a look at this here, because I was able to actually find this. So I went through and tried to find the preseason top 25 from when we first started this and made our 8 Omaha picks, which actually,
Space hit.
Congratulations, all of us. I think we did pretty well on getting teams to Omaha. Like, we did fantastic, in my opinion, from how we picked. But here's where it breaks down for the teams that were into Omaha.
That was foul.
LSU was preseason ranked number 1.
Oh no, that was
obviously fair. They held their ground for the longest time at the beginning of the season, came out, and now into Omaha. Tennessee was 2 at the beginning of the preseason this year. They came in as a not ranked national 16 seed. Still ended up getting to Omaha after finishing last year 57-9. Stanford came out as a pre-ranked 3 seed last year. They got a top 8 national seed. They were back in Omaha. They got dropped 2 in Q. Ole Miss was 4, couldn't even sniff Omaha or Supers even if they tried. Texas A&M was 5, couldn't sniff it. Bye.
They were didn't they go Supers? Or they made it just regional?
I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it might have just been regionals.
Just regional.
Wake Forest, number 6. They're currently trying to play for a spot in the Natty and could potentially win a Natty. Florida, they were ranked preseason 7. They're playing for a Natty. They came to Omaha. Arkansas made the Supers out. Oklahoma State made regionals. They were 9. Vandy 10.
Make a super.
Arkansas didn't make it to.
Arkansas did not make it. Nope, Arkansas did not make a super.
Beat by TCU.
TCU 15 beat Arkansas. They came to Omaha. They fought to try to get to a national championship. Virginia as well. They were 19. They made it to Omaha. Southern Miss missed it by a game. I mean, you look at Oregon, fought in the super regionals. They were 25th at preseason, and that's where they were. I mean, the top 25 preseason has done pretty good for itself when you take a look at it. You got 2 teams that are sitting at anywhere between 1 to 7 getting a chance for a national championship here. 1 being LSU, 6 being Wake Forest, and 7 being the Florida Gators, who are currently sitting. And all 3 of those teams got top national seeds, as Florida got the number 2 overall. So that says pretty good. In my opinion, you are like a half a second ahead, so everything is going to happen as we go. Oh. Mikey wants LSU to win. I still can't believe that. But he was probably happy that Stanford
He's under it. Yep, he's safe. Dummy. This is flashes of LSU against.
Oh, that's under. It's under. Oh my gosh, dude. Throwback.
Flashes of. Oh man. Now we need a high chopper that's going to go over the third baseman's head.
Dude, I remember sitting and watching that game. What was that, 2016?
Yeah,
2016. I remember watching that game, and it was at the box. That stadium got so scared on their toes once he was safe at second, and it was Marks who was safe at second base.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. That game gave me chills. And of course, Coastal being their third time getting into the tournament in team history, gets to supers and goes all the way to Omaha. Do we have a call safe?
Yep, call confirmed.
Hell yeah.
We're gonna go get him.
So now I do have a question on this, going a little bit off topic. How do you guys feel about the whole umpires are now forced to call up to the press box?
I don't know.
I feel like the signals in baseball are a little bit more self-explanatory. It's like you point at the base, out. You point at the base, safe.
It's for the fans that don't know what's going on.
Well, apparently at the CWS there might be a lot of them. Also, fun fact: LSU shattered, and by shattered I mean completely shit all over. What is it? The Rocco bar?
Oh, the
Jello shots.
the Jello shot challenge.
They
have made over $30,000 because of that alone.
Oh my goodness! Here, I'll even look it up to see if they have an updated stat. So Rocco, yeah, Rocco's Omaha Jello shots. So let's see here. Oh, they have the Jello shot competition on Twitter. So currently at the moment, as of 3 hours ago, we'll do some final tallies here. For 2023 so far, $5 a Jello shot gets you sitting pretty good. Florida had 2,326. TCU had 3,971. Wake Forest 7,418. Virginia comes in last by not a lot though. 756. Oral Roberts had 3,157. Stanford had 780. They came in second to last. Tennessee had 2,157.
They're too busy with their book learning.
And now, to shatter the all-time record of shots at Ruccos, LSU with a whopping 27,872 Jello shots for the College World Series so far.
Give me that number again.
27,872. It is $5 a Jello shot. If you are trying to do
that, is
math,
over $139,360
on one team.
That's just Jello shots too. Like, that's not everybody else, and that's not all the other drinks they sell there.
It's
anything else. They are making over $100,000
from one team in the span of 4 in less than 2 weeks. Like, since Friday.
This was whoever came up with the promotional idea to do that deserves a raise.
Oh my goodness, dude. And think about it. One, LSU fans, even with the loss, we all know LSU fans. They will stick around until the diehard end because they love to travel and they love the CWS. Oh no, they got out of it. Son of a bitch. Oh, let's see how this happens as I am now behind. That is a pop fly. Son of a biscuit. Well, but think about it this way. LSU is still going to remain around. And even if they win tonight, they're going to go just as hard. So you're probably looking at almost $250,000 just sitting on LSU Jello shots.
That's a lot.
Virginia made everybody look like shit. Only 756 Jello shots for Virginia. That's
what you get when your team goes 2-Q.
Hard.
Stanford.
Yeah.
Maybe the Jello shots have a direct correlation with how well you're going to do in the tournament.
It must seem like that.
If you're the last two places, then you are going to be the 2-Q teams on either side.
Bro.
I don't make the rules.
Dude, we should actually try to break that down.
I don't make the rules.
That should be a segment to see if the Jello shots actually.
But see, like, if LSU wins, then it's like then it has to be the truth.
If LSU wins, it has to be the truth. I'm still rooting for Wake Forest here, but if LSU wins, we might be on to something on this Jello shot thing. Mikey, what do you think? Does Jello shots correlate with a College World Series championship trophy hoisted above your head at Charles Schwab?
I'm not hoisting shit, buddy.
You're gonna host a participation trophy.
No, I can't. Dylan Cruz can hit a tank right here, though.
Wrong.
No, Dylan Cruz is not going to.
Anybody beat Tommy White?
No.
No, Cruz.
Or Trey
Cruz probably
Morgan.
would be the guy. Cruz might be the guy. He's top offensive player in the country.
We'll see what happens. This is going to be dramatic.
Oh, we're going to stay on for this. But either way, this has been a fun College World Series to watch.
I mean, I wish it would have played out differently to where these two teams, this was the championship. So that would have been even more dramatic, but
yeah,
can't always have what you want.
There's still a chance for an ACC team to play for it or play against an SEC. And there is also still a chance for two SEC teams to run the board. So
Florida never played LSU, though. FYI.
You said what?
Florida never played LSU.
This year, really?
Mm-mm.
Huh. I thought they already
Interesting.
played each other.
Nope. Neither of these teams have played Florida.
All right, then. So that brings the next question. As we know that there is.
No!
Is it over?
Yeah.
No, it was the guy in left field botched it a little bit, so I thought it was going to be. But no, he hung, I think it was 0-2. Yeah, his breaking ball hung it 0-2 or 1-2 over the plate.
Stuck on that.
Just right through the 5-6 hole.
Stuck it.
That's fine.
Pitcher knew it right away, too. It's not fine. It's challenging.
Here we go. We're going to do, since we don't know this yet, and since we're still on because we're awaiting this.
Oh, they're going to go
next
get him.
couple outs here. Out of these two teams, let's say the hypothetical for both here. Let's say LSU wins, gets to Florida. Both teams, if whoever makes it, is out a game one starter for the whole tournament, unless Scans decides to come in and throw late relief in game 3 because he's going to be done for the season, and Louder comes in to throw in game 3 for an inning or two, which we have seen.
He didn't pitch as many pitches as.
Really?
He only threw about 85.
That's not bad stuff.
When?
Today, when he was
he literally had like 80-something pitches.
Big showers, bud.
Oh my God.
All right. So still, we have seen it happen where pitchers will start even before the championship series comes, and then they'll make a game 3 appearance. If LSU wins, plays Florida, who you got out of those two teams?
Like I said before, I think realistically, I want the team that comes out of this game to win it all. Because I feel like the only reason they wouldn't is because they just don't have that one ace, or they didn't have enough arms to make it there. But I think the way that they're balancing out, I don't know. I think this time off for Florida, it won't give them the actual boost that they needed. Like, especially offensively. I don't know if they will have the same capacity of runs or all that kind of stuff. But emotional. Michael Massey comes out of the game. Stud. But yeah, I'd say honestly, the person that comes out of this game, I think that they have a really good chance of winning it all. Just absolutely gritty.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, Florida will have a really good chance to win that game 1. They gotta fight to win that game 1 because that's going to be the best chance they have.
Caglione will probably end up being on the mound for the Gators. You've got
I don't know.
For
He
start-
hasn't pitched at all this CWS.
Yeah, because of that last. I mean, he's been decent, but the last few outings he had when he was struggled a little bit. So
I think for Florida, their biggest thing is can they get ahead of counts early? If they start walking players or start walking even LSU or Wake Forest, there will be hell to pay because it's going to be a
They'll be
tough
able to
scene with
capitalize.
both of these offenses coming in.
I mean, granted, LSU finally got a bunt down today.
Tommy White coming up to the dish.
Had
Ball
8
off double.
RBIs.
Ball off double.
This is thoroughly intense.
This is the moment.
Ball off double.
Ground out, double play.
Ball off double.
This is the absolute. This is the moment right here.
Here we go.
Sure, suck.
And there is no outs.
Ball. Suck it, both of you.
No,
See you
Tommy
later.
Tanks.
Tommy Tanks walk off ding
Showers.
ding.
We are getting a rematch of 2017.
My man hung one pitch.
Damn, that was
What an idiot.
destroyed. Well, you were
And-
wrong, Mikey. Stupid.
A number one still goes winless
How was I wrong?
since
You said walk off double.
He had a walk off.
Yeah, and he had a little bit more cheek into it.
Yeah, how's your pick looking?
It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, hit stars, bud.
Might have to.
The Jello shot theory is still alive.
That's what I'm saying. All right.
Oh,
We have
man.
something to be behind. Wait. Do the breakdown again. So do the numbers from lowest. So the lowest ones are Virginia and Stanford. Those were the first two teams knocked out.
Virginia and Stanford. Virginia had 756.
Who was the next lowest one?
The next one lower down was Tennessee. They had 21,577 or 21. Yeah, 2,157. Words are hard today.
Did they go 1 and 2? Yes,
Yes, they did.
they went 1 and 2. Okay, then who's next? Is Oral Roberts next? TCU is
Sadly,
next.
no.
Who's
All right,
next?
your
Wake
theory
Forest,
sucks.
Florida.
Florida. Oh,
Florida
so
had
I
Cheers,
gotta,
bro.
two
Get out of here. Hit
close.
stars.
But
but
no, hold on here still. Because we could still have this. Because
because if they
the next-
win, then it's just the winner. Like the most Jello shots is the one that
Yeah.
wins.
so if we really want to be scientific about it, yes, the breakdown failed, but still we have teams still in. Wake Forest had 7,400 Jello shots taken, and they were obviously in the semifinals. But with that, LSU, Florida, boys.
SEC matchup that hasn't happened yet, but came to fruition.
So when was I just want to double check this because I believe 2017 CWS winner, I believe, was LSU, Florida. And I think LSU.
Just Florida. Florida won.
Florida won. Okay. So this is a rematch of 17. I want to see if we had how the series went.
All right, let's. I mean, honestly, but like, this is the thing though. I don't know. I'm hoping that the electricity of LSU carries over and they take it to Florida, but we will see.
So according to NCAA, Florida went 2-0 in the last meeting in the CWS title game between these two teams.
It's very rare that it lives up to it. And
Hmm.
tonight,
They ended up winning
Curse is
2-1,
alive and well.
and then
got one against the one,
6-, or no, wait, hold on.
then it ends off the bat.
Was that game one for?
I just
final?
can't have LSU win because I don't want to hear this one kid that I coach. He's gonna be all up on me about LSU winning.
Well, hopefully he doesn't listen to the podcast.
No, I've told him to his face that they're going to get knocked out multiple times, so I think that's what's causing the problem. But yeah.
So the matchup is set. LSU, Florida. Josh, you have LSU taking it all?
Yeah, I'm gonna ride with LSU.
Mikey, who you got?
That's a dumb question.
He's riding LSU as well.
You know what? Going against the odds, I've got the Gators.
Okay.
Not surprised. You've been an idiot all season.
It has been a little challenging with who we picked. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I don't want to go full bandwagon.
But all right. So it's been fun. It's been real. Has not been real fun. Again, you can find us on all podcasting platforms. If you're on YouTube, No Place Like Homaha, go ahead and like and subscribe to our channel. Again, stay up to date with all of our kind of stuff. Hopefully later this summer we'll be able to go up and see a game in Kokomo for the Northwoods League. So stay tuned for that. As this CWS time kind of finishes up and gets all exciting. We're getting into our interviews in the postseason, all that kind of stuff. Again, we are on Twitter and TikTok at Omaha Pod. Stay on there for all the updates and stuff like that. Updates with the big board and everything. Again, on Shank It Golf and Dubby, use code Cronio Media, all one word. Cronio Media, shout out Cronio Media, our partners, putting us out there. But use that code, get 10 to 15% off on anything you want to order off there, all that kind of stuff. Shout out Flintstone Gummies. Anyways, anything else, gentlemen?
We'll see you guys back when a champion is crowned. And through the end of the season.
That's what happens.
Hit the trail of